broadcasting live from the WDCE studios out of the University of Richmond. You're listening to 90.1 FM from the most trusted puppet in media. Reporting since Roswell, I'm Sam NewsMan, and this is Saturday morning. Want to thank everyone for joining into the show. I see White Vegeta, I see David, I see Tim, I see a whole bunch of other people here. I see Sergeant Schultz over there. You know, I tried to reach out to a friend of mine. That is Skydro Walker. That's SKYDRO at extremesets.com. That's Skydro at extremesets.com. But he was like, oh, well, I don't think I could sit there and join. I don't think I can join in with you, Sam. So I think I just want to sit there and talk a few moments about the fact that here I am. Now, listen, okay, can we just have a conversation here? The reason why I always promoted Skydro Walker, that's SKYDRO at extremesets.com, is because that is nothing more than a practice round. Yeah. I'm just going to tell you right now, it's a practice round. This is practice. Practice. Oh, Allen Iverson. What do you mean practice? No, this is not a game. This is practice. The reason why I say it's practice is because here we are setting the standard and raising the bar. And Skydro is pretty much the only person that I would want to promote and continue along this journey when we move into corporate radio. But obviously, it seems that Skydro just seems to want to sit there and go to bed, not really participate. And then here I am. I've been sitting there and saying, Skydro, for the last couple of years, I've been promoting you, and you don't want to sit there and call into the show? You don't want to sit there and promote? Can I just sit there and talk about this for a moment? And then all of a sudden, then Skydro's like, well, you know what? I'm not feeling that great. I don't want to sit there and promote, I don't want to promote anything. And it's like, you know what? And this really just goes back to the idea of simping on Saturday morning. Everybody just wants to sit there and say, oh, well, you know what? I love you, Sam Newsman. I love the fact that you do this. But you know what? I really just am just going to sit there and just simp for it. I'm just going to sit there and listen to you. I don't want to participate. And you know what? As you continue to move into corporate radio, and there's an opportunity for you to sit there and promote your brand, and then all of a sudden you just want to sit there and say you don't want to do anything about it. This is why there's a problem here. Because I'm sitting there as the most trusted puppet in media, been doing this for so long. Shout out to Dead Man. Shout out to Big M. Shout out to anybody who's listening. But you know what? Here I am trying to sit there, and I thought that I would have Skydro Walker because you know what? Here's the thing is that he had a whole bowl of cereal. And you know what? This is where it comes to the point where I sit there and wonder if whether or not people are just sitting there thinking that they love Sam Newsman. They love Saturday morning. Oh my God, I have a whole bowl of cereal here. And you know what? You don't want to call when it's time for your time to call. And you sit there and say, oh, well, Sam, well, we didn't have this scheduled and all of this other stuff. And then out of nowhere, then you know what? Can I just say I love Skydro Walker. I love Skydro. You can save 15% when you use the code Skydro at extremesets.com. But you know what? Skydro, I guess, you know what? He sent me a picture earlier this morning. He said, hey, listen, you know what? I got my bowl of cereal ready and I'm ready to go. And I thought you know what I thought that meant? I thought that meant that he was ready to go if I were to sit there and call him and give him the floor. And have him talk about action figure photography, have him talk about all the great things that he does, maybe educate the community, but he didn't want to do it. He didn't want to do it. And I'm not sitting there saying that I had it scheduled, but I sit there and I reached out and I said, hey, Skydro, you want to set the standard and raise the bar on this Christmas, the first Christmas day? And I got nothing but silence. So shame on you, Skydro Walker. Even though I still love you, I don't know where the hell you are. Because you know what? We could have sat there and set the standard and raised the bar. But no, I guess, you know what? Oh, so I'm too big and too famous. I'm too big. You know what? You know the reason why is because I have a code. You want to use my code? You can use my code at Skydro, SKYDRO at extremesets.com. Because I'm a big fancy, you know what? You know what I mean? I'm so big and fancy when I photograph toys and figures that, like, you know what? I don't have to sit there and listen to Sam NewsMan, and I don't have to promote myself. He's just going to do it for me himself. And yes, I will tell you that Skydro Walker, if you use the code Skydro, that's SKYDRO at extremesets.com, you will be saving 15%. But here are the facts. Skydro just totally said, hey, you know what? I'm going to ghost your ass. I'm going to ghost your ass. I'm going to ghost your ass. And you're not going to be like, you know what? I'm so good because now I'm so great and amazing because I have my own code at extremesets.com that I'm not going to call into the show. I'm going to continue to munch on my cereal and not do anything about it. Well, you know what, Skydro? I love you, but I'm going to tell you right now, you should be calling in right now to the show. But you're not. No, I'm going to continue to eat my bowl of cereal. Absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. You know, I had a whole thing set up right here. I was like, hey, you know what, Skydro, why don't you call in? And he didn't. And so, of course, I'm just going to rake him over the coals over and over, going on FM radio. And you know what? Who knows the fact that everybody's like, oh, Skydro is just the most amazing person ever. But you know what Skydro is? Skydro is the most ghosting person that you could ever have on a radio show. Because he doesn't want to sit there and call in. I just go roll over and back over and go into bed, Skydro. You don't want to sit there and call into the show? I understand that. Just keep doing what you're doing. Okay. So all of a sudden, Skydro says that, okay. So the phone is ringing now, and now all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the phone lines are ringing. And it's Skydro because now he's upset that I'm sitting there talking smack about him. But Skydro, I'm telling you right now, what are you doing? Are you just rolling back over and going into bed?
I was thinking for Skydro.
No, oh my God! Listen. I'm not. Listen. Listen. I'm not into people who are calling in and sticking up for Skydro. No, I'm not. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it because I want to hear Skydro's voice. I don't want to hear anybody's voice outside of Skydro. I don't want to hear people that are taking up for Skydro when they're doing it. I'm just asking for where the hell is Skydro, right? My producer called him a few moments ago, and then all of a sudden he's not sitting there calling in and calling into the show. And he's like, oh my gosh, I love this show. And it's like, you know, this show is so great. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the person that I sit there and promote more than anyone else doesn't want to call into this show. Shame on you, Skydro. You are so in the doghouse at this moment. And you know what? Sir Philosopher is here. We have so much that we need to take care of. And you want to sit there and simp and grab the soap and not sit there and communicate and talk to us. What the hell are you doing? Just roll back over and go to bed. Make sure that you use the code Skydro. That's SKYDRO at extremesets.com. That's SKYDRO at extremesets.com. Your action figure photography may not be as great as Skydro Walker on Instagram, but hell, you know what? You could at least be saving 15% while you're doing it. And, 15% is a lot bigger than just, ghosting the show. So, hey, you know what? I have a whole bowl of cereal and I'm here waiting for the show. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh, hey, you know what? Here's my opportunity to go on an award winning radio show with an award winning puppet that has been award winning and is about to go to commercial radio. And you know what? I just don't want to do it. And then listen, I'm going to tell you, all of you right now, that do not do what Skydro has done, because here we are setting the standard and raising the bar. And there's a lot more to come in the future. But if you just want to squander your opportunity the way that Skydro has at extremesets.com, SKYDRO at extremesets.com, you can go ahead and do that. And that's fine. Because you're going to be like, oh, well, you know, I'm a fancy action figure photographer. Oh, you know what? I love my action figure photography. I'm so much better than what everyone else does. And in fact, I don't have to call into a Sam NewsMan show, because I'm so much better than everyone else. You know what? Here's the reality. All of you action figure photographers, all of you toy collectors, and everyone else, just grab the soap, because the reality is that you're locked into nostalgia. And that's the reason why I have manipulated nostalgia for you here on the only award-winning radio show dedicated to the magic and nostalgia of Saturday morning, hosted by me, a real media puppet. Go ahead, continue to collect action figures and toys, and continue to sit there and set them up and take pictures of them. But you're not going to do it because Skydro Walker can't really tell you how to do that. Why? Because Skydro Walker can't even show up and tell you all about how he does it. When I sit there, that's all I really wanted him to do. And I'm telling you what, right now, it's shameful. It's shameful. Because as you continue to take pictures of your action figures and toys, here's the reality of the situation. The reality of the situation is that your photographs, well, they may not look as good as Skydro Walker's on Instagram. Just make sure you use the code Skydro. That's SKYDRO at extremesets.com. And maybe your action figure photography might look as good as Skydro Walker on Instagram. But hell, who knows? Because he can't even call into the damn show. From the most trusted puppet in media, reporting since Roswell, I'm Sam NewsMan, and this is a Skydro. Wait a minute. A non-Skydro segment here on the only radio show dedicated to the magic and nostalgia of Saturday morning, hosted by me, a real media puppet. Skydro less. Here on the only radio show dedicated to the magic and nostalgia of Saturday morning, hosted by me, a real media puppet. From the most trusted puppet in media, reporting since Roswell, I'm Sam NewsMan. And this is Saturday morning.